He signed the agreement. The board locked the door behind him. Over 12 million Americans lost $2.3 billion in stimulus checks. Yet the system's architects claimed it was built to protect consumers. Behind closed doors, executives at FICO and Equifax rewrote the rules of creditworthiness. It's called strategic silence, a covert strategy to manipulate scores, exclude minorities, and profit from ignorance. And it's how credit scores control your life. FICO's 1956 model, the Big Three's 90% market share, and a system that favors the wealthy. The 2020 stimulus checks, a system that weaponized credit scores to exclude low-income Americans. When the IRS denied payments to applicants with no credit history, it wasn't a glitch, it was design. The 2019 NBER study revealed Black Americans had scores 40 points lower than white peers, a gap cemented by algorithms that weaponized zip codes as proxies for risk. Strategic silence wasn't just a tactic, it was the architecture of the system. Credit bureaus hoarded data. Borrowers were blind. Asymmetric information exploitation, the Big Three's monopoly. Experian, Equifax, TransUnion. 90% of the market, $3 billion a year in monitoring fees and no accountability. A black applicant denied a loan, told to improve creditworthiness, never told their score, was artificially depressed by zip code bias. The MIT Media Lab 2022 study exposed AI-driven models that perpetuated racial bias without explicit discrimination. The power move wasn't in the numbers, it was in the silence. When borrowers assumed their low scores were their fault, the system had already won. The 2023 CFPB guidelines aimed to crack the code, but the boardroom's leverage was already secured. The Big Three's golden parachutes, their lobbying to block reforms, their control over data. This wasn't a mistake, it was a calculated power play. And the victims, they never saw it coming. The psychology behind strategic silence is rooted in the asterisk reciprocity principle, a concept Cialdini famously weaponized in Persuasion. Credit bureaus exploit this by making borrowers feel they must earn access to credit, not by demanding transparency, but by withholding it. When a black applicant is denied a loan and told, "Improve your creditworthiness," they're not being asked to fix a flawed system. They're being asked to believe the system is fair and that their failure is personal. This is no accident. The MIT Media Lab 2022 study revealed AI-driven models use zip codes as proxy variables for risk, embedding racial bias without explicit discrimination. Yet the Big Three, Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, refused to disclose algorithmic weights, ensuring borrowers never see the hand that's shaping their fate. The asymmetric information exploitation change is deliberate. In 2026, the Federal Reserve reported 19% of Black Americans have no credit history, a statistic the Big Three weaponized to justify exclusion. When a stimulus check is denied in 2020, it's not a glitch, it's a power play. The CFPB's 2023 guidelines mandated algorithmic transparency, but the Big Three responded with golden parachutes and lobbying to block reforms. Their $3 billion in credit monitoring fees is not just profit. It's a mechanism to keep consumers dependent on their opaque systems. Here's the deeper manipulation. Loss aversion framing. Borrowers are conditioned to believe their low score is a personal failing, not a systemic flaw. When a loan is denied, the message is, "You're not worthy," not, "Our algorithms are rigged." This is the reciprocity principle in action. By making borrowers feel they must prove their worth, the system avoids accountability. And when the CFPB finally cracks the code in 2026, the Big Three are already one step ahead, hoarding data and lobbying to dilute reforms. The silence isn't just a tactic, it's the architecture of control. 1. Score opacity. The first move is to keep the algorithm's inner workings hidden. Credit bureaus refuse to disclose how zip codes, income brackets, or even utility payments influence scores, ensuring borrowers remain blind to systemic bias. In 2026, Experian's CEO, Mark H. McCracken defended proprietary algorithms as commercial secrets, even as the CFPB's 2023 guidelines demanded transparency. The result? A black applicant denied a loan is told, "Improve your creditworthiness," never informed their score was artificially depressed by zip code bias. 2. Racial proxy variables. The second step weaponizes AI's reliance on proxy data. The MIT Media Lab's 2022 study revealed models use zip codes to flag high-risk areas, disproportionately affecting Black and Latino communities. In 2026, a CFPB audit found that 19% of Black Americans had no credit history, a gap the Big Three exploited by denying stimulus checks in 2020, citing inadequate credit data. The system's flaw: it never admitted the data itself was rigged. 3. Denial of credit repair access. The final move blocks victims from fighting back. Credit repair services cost $150 a month, and success rates remain low. The Big Three's $3 billion a year in monitoring fees, Forbes 2026, funds lobbying to dilute reforms. When a borrower finally demands transparency, they're met with legal threats. In 2026, Equifax's golden parachutes, worth $20 million for its CEO, ensured boardroom control over data policies, even as the CFPB pushed for algorithmic audits. Victim psychology. Borrowers fall into the loss aversion trap, believing their low score is personal failure, not systemic design. Kahneman's work on loss aversion explains why victims rarely challenge the system. The emotional cost of confronting bias outweighs the benefit of fighting back. When the CFPB's 2023 guidelines mandated algorithmic transparency, the Big Three responded with asymmetric information exploitation, burying details in legal jargon, boardroom power dynamics. The Big Three's golden parachutes and lobbying ensured regulatory reforms stalled. In 2026, a CFPB audit uncovered Equifax's 2021 $700 million data breach settlement, unrelated to credit scoring, but proof of their influence. The system's architects, not just CEOs, but algorithms designed to keep the marginalized in debt, the boardroom's leverage. A monopoly on data, and the silence that made it impossible to see. The boardroom's final move is always the same. Create a false choice. When borrowers are told, either improve your score or stay in debt, they're being manipulated into believing there's no alternative. But there is. In 2026, the CFPB's 2023 algorithmic transparency mandate and credit scores, yet they buried the details in legalese, ensuring most borrowers never saw them. The MIT Media Lab's 2022 study exposed how AI models use zip codes as proxy variables, but the Big Three's $3 billion would tuition credit monitoring fees and credit monitoring fees and trend in things the system intact. Here's how to fight back. 1. Use alternative data. Tell a lender, "I'm adding my rent payments to my credit profile. You can't ignore that." In 2026, 23% of underbanked Americans used non-traditional data to boost scores. Proof the system isn't unbreakable. Straight. Negotiate with BATNA when denied a loan. Say, "If you don't approve this, I'll take my business to a bank that uses Vantage Score." The Vantage Score model, introduced in 2006 by the Big Three, still relies on the same biased data, but borrowers can weaponize its existence. *3. Demand transparency. Cite the *CFPB 2023 guidelines and ask, under the law, you must disclose your algorithm's weighting factors. Where are they? Kahneman's work on asymmetric information shows why this works. The system's power lies in opacity, and once you name it, you've already won half the battle. But the most devastating revelation was still to come. The *2026 discovery of a secret algorithmic bias loophole. The Big Three had embedded a backdoor in their AI models, allowing them to suppress scores in high poverty zip codes without violating any laws. The CFPB's 2026 audit uncovered it, but by then, the damage was done. The boardroom had already secured its leverage. The boardroom is a battlefield. If you don't know the rules, you're already losing. Subscribe for more breakdowns of corporate power psychology. Tell us in the comments, what's the most ruthless power play you've witnessed at work? The boardroom's final move is always the same. Create a false choice. When borrowers are told, either improve your score or stay in debt, they're being manipulated into believing there's no alternative. But there is. In 2026, the CFPB's 2023 Algorithmic Transparency Mandate forced the Big Three to disclose weighting factors in credit scores, yet they buried the details in legalese, ensuring most borrowers never saw them. The MIT Media Lab's 2022 study exposed how AI models use zip codes as proxy variables, but the Big Three's $3 billion in credit monitoring fees intact. Here's how to fight back. *1. Use alternative data. Tell a lender, I'm adding my rent payments to my credit profile. You can't ignore that. In 2026, 23% of underbanked Americans used non-traditional data to boost scores. Proof the system isn't unbreakable. Much don't. Negotiate with BATNA or pledged. When denied a loan, say, if you don't approve this, I'll take my business to a bank that uses Vantage Score. The Vantage Score model, introduced in 2006 by the Big Three, still relies on the same biased data, but borrowers can weaponize its existence. *3. Demand transparency. Cite the CFPB 2023 guidelines and ask, under the law, you must disclose your algorithm's weighting factors. Where are they?